Well, greetings and salutations, everybody. Welcome to the best damn movie-related show on the planet Earth, the John Campea Show podcast. Coming from right here in our quaint little studio. I'm, of course, your host, John Campea. I'm joined in studio today by Ray Ora.
Hey, what's up, everyone?
Jonathan Voico.
It's going to be a wicked good show today.
Chris Carr is normally here on Tuesday, but she's out celebrating her husband's birthday celebration, stuff like that. So she's not going to be joining us today, but you guys are here. Thank you so much for being here and making our little show part of your day. And here's how today's show is going to go. We're going to start out by talking about a few predetermined topics that we've got lined up for you. Then in the second part of the show, we're going to take your live comments and questions. If you have a thought, theory, opinion, or question you'd like us to address, and as long as we deem it here in the studio to be appropriate to be addressed on the show, go ahead and fire it on in at www.streamelements.com/JohnCampea/tip. And the good news is the tip link is good 24 hours a day. So if you send it in now, we'll get to it in the second part of the show. But if you're listening to our podcast a little bit later in the day, say on Apple Podcasts or on Spotify, or if you're watching our video a little bit later in the day when we're not live, you can still use that tip link. Send in your questions 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And if you send it in when we're not live, we'll just get around to answering it on the next episode. All right, guys. With that down, we got a lot of stuff to cover here today, and we're going to start off with this. Wicked and Gladiator 2 opening up this week. Super excited for both. Seeing both of them in the next 48 hours. Very stoked about it. Now, we've talked on the show before about how Wicked is not, I'm not the demographic for Wicked, but they showed us previews for it 2 years in a row now at CinemaCon, and it's kind of blown my mind how good it looks. Well, the early reactions came out from critics, loved it. Then they did a screening for it for, crockety, jaded Academy voting members, got a standing ovation from Academy Award voters. And last night, in certain cities across the world, early screenings of Wicked took place. And people who saw those screenings and verified on Rotten Tomatoes, Wicked right now has a 99% audience score.
Wow.
With over 1,000 verified ratings. Remember, these are people that Rotten Tomatoes has confirmed through ticket purchasing apps and stuff like that. They actually went to go see the movie. Over 1,000 verified ratings, and it's already got a 99%. This means this week is going to be great. Because Gladiator 2, we don't have numbers right now for Gladiator. We'll talk about that probably tomorrow. But Gladiator 2 has also been getting rave responses to it. This could be, it's not going to be, Barbenheimer necessarily.
Wikiator.
But I think if you're a movie fan, I think this is going to be a fantastic weekend. And I'll just tell you what, this kind of justifies to me that hype that we felt seeing those previews at CinemaCon. Because, man, they played those previews and my jaw was in my lap. Visually, it's stunning. Absolutely stunning. The music is inspired. And Cynthia Erivo and Ariana Grande, I mean, I don't know if you knew this, they can sing.
Huh.
And it looked great. It sounded great. It's John M. Chu, right? Who directed it.
John M. Chu.
He came out on stage and talked about their commitment to, as much as possible, do practical sets. And so there's these scenes, we talked about this before on the show. There are these scenes where it looks like these rolling hills with CGI flowers. Oh, but they weren't CGI flowers. They literally brought in, they talked about this on stage, millions of actual flowers to decorate these sets. And they went as practical as they possibly could on it. And now it sounds like the critics seem to like it. The Academy voters seem to like it. But the big question, as one of our viewers wrote in the other day, the question is going to be, how do the audiences respond to it? Because there are a lot of fans of the original musical, and nobody is a harsher critic of this stuff than fans of original source material, right? There is no harder critics of Hunger Games than the people who read the Hunger Games.
Or Harry Potter, whatever.
Yeah, all that kind of stuff, right? It's the
Thrones.
hardcore fans of the original source material that are usually the biggest hurdles to get over to get on board with you. But 99%. Now, I'm expecting probably in the next 24 hours to see the full critic reviews. I mean, we already got the early critic responses, the social media reactions. We all know it's very positive. So we're going to see what the actual critic review number is. I'm going to expect it to be in the high 80s.
Yeah. Yeah,
High
because
80s, low 90s.
because I was thinking, and this is to your point, these people that came out and watched the early screenings of it probably were already fans of
They're the
play.
hardcore fans
Of the play. Now, one, like you said, you got to win them over a little harder. But at the same time, this means that if you were a fan of the play, you're going to transition and love this. How will that transition to people who are not familiar with the play or whatever? Because that score will have to come down at some point.
Yeah, by the way, one of our channel members, Official Liam, is saying that the official critic review embargo drops in an hour. So we will keep an eye on that. We'll check back in on that to see what the critic scores are. But right now, it looks like the audience scores are through the roof. Remember when all those people kept writing into me a few months ago saying, no one's going to go see Wicked?
No one cares.
Nobody's going to care. And I would say Wicked's going to be huge, guys. John, you're crazy. Nobody cares about Wicked. No one's going to go see Wicked. Yeah, people are going to go see Wicked. And the fans seem pretty stoked on it and hyped about it and excited about it. So we'll see how this turns out. We'll keep our eyes. We'll check back in an hour to see what the critic reviews are.
Isn't that kind of funny? Yeah, we got to kind of do like a critic watch.
Yeah, critic watch. Question is for you guys. What do you think about this? Are you surprised to hear the response to is so positive? Not just from the Academy, from critics. Apparently now the audiences love it. Are you shocked? Are you surprised? How big do you think this thing can be? Whatever you guys think, jump down to the comment section below and let us know your thoughts. All right, guys. That down. From the positive sounding news to maybe the negative sounding news. There's a bit of a big movie opening next week. Moana 2 is coming. Could be the biggest film of the year. Has a chance. I'll at least say has a chance. I'm not going to say it will be, but it has a chance to be the biggest film of the year. To pass Inside Out 2 and become the biggest film of the year. Has a chance. We'll see. But there's one big glaring concerning thing about it. The reviews have still not dropped. And according to reports, they're not going to drop until the day the movie comes out.
Ugh.
So this comes us from The Direct, writing Moana 2 critic reviews update casts uncertainty of Disney's confidence in the sequel. And it goes on to say this, Moana 2 critic review embargo has reportedly been revealed, potentially pointing to a lack of confidence from Disney for the film. According to a post on X, formerly known as Twitter, from the Hollywood Handle's Ricardo Meyer, the Moana 2 review embargo set for Tuesday, November 26th at noon Eastern. Now, you may be saying to yourself, John, that's not the day of release. The day of release is November 27th. Ah, yes, but don't forget, the first screenings are always the day before, right? The first screenings are always the day before. So if you go to, like right now, I was on my AMC website, you go to Tuesday, the 26th, there's 2 p.m. screenings. Just a couple of hours separated from this.
Yeah. Oh, because it's Thanksgiving weekend, so it's extended weekend.
Yes.
Okay.
So literally right now, the review embargo, if the reports are accurate, is not being lifted until the day the movie comes out.
Yikes.
Now, I've always said, I've said this for well over a decade. This is a massive red flag because what it communicates to us is that the studio does not believe in the film. And what I always say is, hey, studios, if you don't have belief in your film, why should I have belief in your film? That being said, I'm not worried about it yet. And here's why I'm not worried about it yet. I could become worried about it, but I'm not worried about it yet, and here's why. More than any other studio, Disney films tend to, well before the review embargo lifts, clear social media reactions, right? They've always had the two different things.
Right.
And the social media reactions always come days or longer before the full review embargo. So what they'll say to the critics coming to the movies, hey, by coming to see the movie that we're going to show you, you agreed not to release your full review until this date and hold your social media reaction until this date, which is usually much earlier. Now, if you allow the critics seeing your film early to put out their social media reactions early ahead of the full review embargo, I'm good with that. I'm good with that. Like, would I like to have the full reviews? Yes. But as long as you let those people put out their initial reactions and just tell the audience basically we liked it, we didn't like it, I'm okay with it. I'm okay with it. Now, right now, I do not have any official information on when they're releasing the social review reactions. Because if they don't let people release their social media reactions on social media, give their first reactions, their first, thoughts on the movie before that full review embargo, oh yeah, I think that's a red flag the size of your house. I think that is a massive warning sign that this movie did not turn out well.
Yeah.
Because if it did, Disney would let people give their social media reactions. If they did, they would let the critic reviews drop earlier than the day of release. So again, I've just seen this so many times. The reason I'm not worrying is because so many times we've seen that Disney, like, oh, the review embargo seems kind of late, but then the first reactions come like 6 days before the movie comes out. If that happens, I think everything's okay. But if it doesn't, this could be a massive red flag.
What I think this would lead to is if it does end up getting panned, which I hope it doesn't, then I think you're going to get like Wicked and Gladiator 2 having stronger than expected second weekend.
Oh yeah, their legs in the second week. Whew. I mean, they would love Moana to be bad.
Yeah.
Because Moana is like literally sitting in their second week window. They're sitting in Gladiator and Wicked's second week window. They would love for people to say, "Oh, we'll take a pass on Moana." Which, I mean, like, that's the other question. If Disney thinks this movie isn't that good, why would you not move it out of the way of Wicked and Gladiator 2?
Right.
I mean, at least push it into December or something like that. But I don't know. We will see. This is all about whether or not Disney allows the critics to release their social media reactions.
Well, let's not forget, it did. The first Moana did have it was a smash hit on Disney Plus too. So
Oh, it's huge.
yeah, but I don't know what that does for anything. It would be a bad year for The Rock.
It would continue.
Even
a
voiceover
bad
work.
year for The Rock.
Oh, boy.
Voiceover work. The Rock, not monetary wise, he's kicking ass there.
Yeah.
Oh, he's collecting checks.
But yeah, it would be a bad year for The Rock, as in terms of movie quality.
All right, guys. Question is for you. What do you think about this? According to the reports, the review embargo for this movie is not dropping until the day the movie hits theaters. Bad sign. Do you feel better about it if they do allow social media reactions early? Do you think they will allow social media reactions early? Whatever you guys think, jump down to the comment section below and let us know your thoughts. All right, guys. With that down, let's move on to this. You know, it was with some skepticism that people received the news a little over a year ago that they were going to be doing a How to Train Your Dragon live action film. I, for one, think it's going to be a difficult one to pull off visually, but if they do, it could be really special because I love those movies. Those movies are great. You got great base source material to work from. You can do some great stuff with it if you do it well. Well, the other day they dropped the first image of it. It just looked like it was Hiccup standing in an arena.
Right.
Nothing much to write home about. It was like, okay, well, there you go. There it is. This morning, though, they dropped the first short teaser that gave us our first look at Hiccup at Gerard Butler as his dad. By the way, wonderful idea to bring back. Of course, Gerard Butler did the voice of Hiccup's dad in the original films. To actually bring him in to physically play it in live action, I think is great. So we got our first look at him. And some would say most importantly, I think most of us would agree most importantly, we got our first look at Toothless. And Toothless looks, look, I'll say it, perfect. It's perfect. That looks perfect. And as soon as I saw him open those puppy dog eyes, my heart smiled. My heart absolutely smiled. Now, listen, I will admit, I was one of the guys that I thought, you know, you want to make Toothless look like that Night Fury from the movie, but you're going to have to adapt to his look a little bit to come across better in live action. I was wrong. I was wrong. That is an exact pixel by pixel Toothless And it looks great.
Mm-hmm.
And that wonderful scene with Hiccup with his head turned away and his hand stretched out, and then it actually touches. Didn't that warm your heart? When Toothless leans into his hand and then closes his eyes, you're like, oh, come on.
This might be the first time I've ever said when I saw it, I was like, why didn't they just start with live action? It looks that good to
Well,
me.
it would have been hard to make.
I know,
this
but
back.
I'm just saying that's how good it looks to me. The trailer, I don't know if they're gonna go one for one. The story, I'm not sure, but
There may be some adaptations, but it seems like it's about the same.
the biggest worry was the dragons. Like, how would they?
Yeah, because
they look?
in the animated movie, some of the dragons look really weird.
Kind of like
And then we saw them. We saw them flying down. We saw the two.
Yeah, but a lot of these look more like traditional dragons.
they do,
Like-
but there is a bulky one in the upper corner there. There's some that look a little more salamandery and rounded.
yeah, it'll
but-
be interesting to see how they go with that.
Yeah.
But I mean,
Oh my
the
god!
look of it is just fantastic.
I watched.
It made my heart smile. And listen, I actually, full disclosure, I actually had this trailer before it dropped. And so I showed it to Ray when he came in this morning. This was still before it dropped online. And so I hear Ray over, I'm working on something else, and I hear Ray over at his desk watching it. And then all of us, then it's kind of quiet. Then all I hear is Ray's going, $1 billion film.
Eh,
$1 billion film.
I don't know about that because the originals didn't make a
Yeah.
billion,
You don't
but this
understand.
will pull in more.
You don't understand how much I love the first How to Train Your Dragon.
I want to know if you're
So good.
I want to know if Anne teared up if she's seen it yet because
She had not, like, I literally just told her about it before we started the show. She said, oh, I'm going to go watch it. So
Yeah.
she's in her office right now,
Okay.
probably watching it now.
she's like got a meeting and
I
tearing up.
guarantee you she's going to love it.
Question: will this make more than any of the How to Train Your Dragon animated films?
Ooh.
Boy, I
think
I
so.
hope so.
You know what? If it's good, that's always the big question, right?
Right.
If it's good.
Right.
If this movie is good, you're going to build on all that nostalgia from all the original How to Train Your Dragon movies, combined with the fact that now you just have a good
5.
movie. It can't, because I think the biggest one was like, what,
6.
680 or something? I
Yeah.
can't remember how big the biggest
So
one was.
500 and then about 620 and
Okay.
then 540.
So
So if it's
620 was the highest grossing
so
one.
if it's over 600, then it peaked any of the films. But if at least it's between 5 and 6, it's in the range.
Yeah, I can see this again if it's really good, because if it's terrible, it's not going to.
Sure.
But if it's real good, I can see this movie making 650, 700 million.
8.
I'm assuming
You're
the
gonna say 8?
Let's reach 8. Come
well,
on.
that would be awesome.
Well, it's still a long ways off. I think the
Yeah.
movie just what June or July?
Yeah.
So it's still a long ways off. I'll be honest with you, I'm not sure why they're dropping a first teaser for it now, this far in advance.
I think because it's simply because it leaked.
Yeah.
They probably wanted to
Yeah.
hang on to it longer.
I mean, like I said, I got my hands on it early, and they
Yeah.
probably went, listen, some people are getting their hands on it already. We might as well just put the trailer
Give
out.
the full res.
It's probably a good idea.
And then I'm assuming then they're trying to make the idea is going to be of making a trilogy like the film.
Well,
I mean, like
sure,
the
yeah.
like the animated,
I mean, that's the great thing about it, right? The first movie is a complete movie,
right?
right? It's not like the end of Lord of the Rings Fellowship of the Ring where it's like, oh, look, Mr. Frodo, there's Mordor, and then the credits roll. Right?
Right.
The first movie doesn't do that. The first movie is a fully self-contained movie.
Yeah.
So they can do it, and then fingers crossed, if it does do well, excellent, green light the sequel. Go for it.
Yeah.
And then they can adapt How to Train Your Dragon 2. So and if it doesn't do all that great, let's say it does okay, makes a little bit of money, and they're like, okay, fine. You know what? It was a self-contained movie. We can move on now. But
Yep.
yeah, clearly the goal will be to do the whole trilogy. So we'll see how they kind of turn out with it. Guys, question is for you. I thought for a quick, short little teaser for How to Train Your Dragon, it was perfect. It was perfect. For a short little well in advance teaser, I thought it was great. I think the kid who's playing Hiccup looks wonderful. I love seeing Gerard Butler in there. Toothless looks absolute perfection. I'm down with this.
June is going to be an insane month for 2025. We got Ballerina, then we got Elio and How to Train Your Dragon. 28 years later, F1, Megan 2.0, all down the line.
All in
Wow.
June.
All in June.
Wow.
That's going to be a big month. Anyway, guys, whatever you guys think about this, jump down into the comment section below and let us know your thoughts. All right, guys. That down. Let's move on to this, shall we? You know, when Nobody came out, I really personally love that film. It was one of the first, not the first one, but Nobody with Bob Odenkirk was like one of the very first movies that I went back into theaters once the pandemic was starting to wane and the theaters were opening back up. I think the first one was Godzilla versus Kong. I might be right or wrong about that, but
Yeah,
I know
yeah. We
I
went to
know
the theaters
Nobody. Nobody was definitely one of those first ones.
It was the one you went to Vegas for.
No,
Was
the one I went to Vegas for. See, the theaters were still closed in California.
Oh, you're saying when it officially opened?
Yeah, when they officially. 'Cause
Gotcha.
the one I drove, true story. I drove all the way to Las Vegas. Me and my buddy Soul. We got in the car, drove to Las Vegas, and went to the movie theater there because that theater was open to see X-Men. What was it called? X-Men.
Mutants.
New Mutants.
New Mutants. That's what it was. The New Mutants.
Worth it.
Yeah, and then got back in the car, turned around, and drove all the way back home. But it was my first time in a movie theater in like 6 months.
Yeah.
So no, but I mean here.
Yeah.
Mortal Kombat was one of them too.
No, we saw Mortal Kombat.
In
Oh,
the
like
theater,
one of
in
the
theater.
first.
Yeah, one of the first ones that came, where we
But
actually went to the
Nobody
theater.
was one of those first ones.
Yeah.
And it was such a great time. Bob Odenkirk ruled in that movie. Absolutely nobody went to go see it. It made like $57 million total, not opening weekend, total. So I never dreamed they would do a sequel for it. And it made my life filled with joy when I found out that they were. And now Empire Magazine has released their first look of Bob Odenkirk in Nobody 2. Now, Nobody 2, I forget what's the opening. When does it open up?
I have it right here.
What's
It
the
is,
opening for Nobody 2? It's 2025.
August 15th.
August 15th. So
Okay.
it's still a ways
Yeah.
off. And I'm still wondering if they may or may not tie this in. Because remember, it's a lot of the filmmakers behind John Wick.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of the background mythology in this felt completely borrowed from John Wick. There are studio issues, absolutely, but there's a part of me that wonders if they will at some point try to say this is a part of the same universe as John Wick. It's unlikely, but it would be pretty damn cool if they did. But even if they don't, I thought Christopher Lloyd in it was great.
Oh,
I think
yeah.
RZA was great. I love the villains in it. Bob Odenkirk ruled. So yeah, nobody went to go see this one, but I will make a bold prediction. This one will make twice as much as the last one did. 114 million. Book it. It's going to make a lot of money, at least compared to the first one.
Look, it's opening up against Mercy and Animal Friends on August 15th.
Which one is Animal Friends again?
I'm not sure, but it's listed here. But it looks like one of the slower months next year, August, which seems weird, but yeah.
Yeah, August is often the
It does slow down.
coming down off the summer rush
Yeah.
kind of month a
Yeah.
little bit. So
Kids start
Because-
going back to school.
Because July, before that, we got Jurassic World, Superman, the Fantastic Four, all in that July.
yeah, it's gonna be a big month. So you're getting a couple of these other films that are being put a month off, and I don't care.
I'm with
I'll
you.
be there to see Nobody 2.
I'm with you with it doubling its
I
first.
cannot wait to see this. Seriously, Odenkirk rules in this. Anyway, guys, question is for you. What do you think about this? Did you see Nobody? Were you one of the very, very few people that actually ventured out to go see Nobody when it was in theaters? Did you catch it later on at home? Are you excited about this one? What do you think of the first image? Perfect, him holding like an Uzi, blood soaked. Whatever you guys think, jump down to the comment section below and let us know your thoughts. All right, guys. With that down, we still got a few other things to talk about, including Peacemaker Season 1. Yeah, James Gunn's now confirmed it. It's canon with the brand new DCU. We're going to discuss that with the one exception to that, he said. Deadpool and Wolverine just debuted on streaming and is surprised, the biggest streaming thing of the year for Disney+. Also, it's now been confirmed that DC is developing multiple R-rated films for their new DCU. We're going to talk about that and a few things more. But before we do, we're going to take a quick second to thank a couple of sponsors of today's episode of the John Campea Show podcast. Our friends at Mando and Miracle Made. Guys, we want to take a second to thank a sponsor of today's video, Mando. Thank goodness it is football season. It's time for tailgates, touchdowns, and Sunday cookouts with the crew. But unfortunately, along with the drinks and the food, sometimes you also bring along your odor. And that is why Mando whole body deodorant should be an absolute tailgate game day essential. And that's why Mando's the MVP. It's clinically proven 72-hour odor control, so it's perfect for long days at the game or at the bar. I'm loving the Clover Wood scent, but they've got options like bourbon leather, Mount Fuji, Pro Sport, and even unscented if you prefer to go stealth mode. I like to use it after the shower, before the gym, or even important meetings. It's that reliable. And right now, Mando's got a killer deal. New customers get $5 off their best-selling starter pack with my exclusive code Campea. That's over 40% off. Just go to shopmando, that's shopmando.com, and use the code Campea. Seriously, guys, if you want a deodorant that's aluminum-free, baking soda-free, and just works better than anything else you've tried, it's time to make the switch to Mando. So don't wait. Control body odor anywhere with Mando. Head over to shopmando.com and use the code Campea and get $5 off your starter pack. Trust me, you're going to love it. That's at shopmando.com. Go and check it out now. Guys, we want to take a second to thank a sponsor of today's episode, Miracle Made. Guys, it's hot outside and your nighttime bedroom temperature has a huge impact on your sleep quality. So if you wake up too hot or too cold, I highly recommend you check out Miracle Made's bed sheets. Miracle Made sheets are inspired by NASA and use silver-infused fabrics that are temperature regulating so you can sleep at the perfect temperature all night long. There are just so many things that make these sheets so fantastic. We already mentioned the self-cooling properties for better quality sleep, but they're also self-cleaning. These sheets are infused with silver that prevent up to 99.7% of bacterial growth, leaving them to stay cleaner and fresh 3 times longer than other sheets. No more gross odors. So go to trymiracle.com/Campea. That's TRYMIRACLE.com/Campea to try Miracle Made sheets today. And whether you're buying them for yourself or as a gift for a loved one, if you order today, you can save over 40%. And if you use our promo code Campea at checkout, you'll get 3 free towels and save an extra 20%. Miracle is so confident in their product, it's backed with a 30-day money-back guarantee. So if you aren't 100% satisfied, you'll get a full refund. So upgrade your sleep with Miracle Made. Go to trymiracle.com/Campea and use the code Campea to claim your free 3-piece towel set and save over 40% off. Again, that's trymiracle.com/Campea to treat yourself. Thank you, Miracle Made, for sponsoring this episode. And thank you to our friends at Mando and Miracle Made for sponsoring today's episode of the John Campea Show podcast. All right, guys, with that down, let's move on to this, shall we? Personally, with all due respect to Smallville, which I loved, and the Arrowverse, which for a lot of it I liked, some of it was garbage, but a lot of the Arrowverse I liked. Peacemaker is the best thing Warner Brothers DC has ever done on television. And you know what, I say this as somebody who I admit, I thought, why on earth are you doing a whole series around Peacemaker? And when I saw the first trailer, remember that one, the trailer where he like went into the diner to meet the rest of the group?
Right.
And he talked about how he had his eagle in the car. I thought that looked awful. I did. And I said, I don't know what they're doing with this. Then I watched the series and I think it's the best thing they've ever done. Greatest opening music number 2 of any TV show ever. Do you really want to I just the greatest thing ever. How they're going to open season 2, I have no idea. Anyway, one of the big questions that a lot of people understandably had when they announced season 2 and they were doing the new DCU, but Peacemaker was continuing when everything else was being reset, was like, so then was Peacemaker canon or not? Do you remember what I said? I said this. The great thing about Peacemaker, well, this is what I said like a year ago. Mm-hmm. The great thing about Peacemaker season 1 is you don't have to retcon any of it. You literally only have to retcon one single scene.
Right.
And that's when Jason Momoa and Ezra Miller show up at the end.
Right.
That's it. You just retcon that one moment, I said on this show many times. And really, yeah, they mentioned Batman. That's fine. You didn't see Ben Affleck or anything like that. Like, you could say that Peacemaker season 1 takes place in any universe you want.
And even with Superman and Wonder Woman, they were silhouetted. So that could be anybody.
Could be enemy. So all you got to do, I said, is retcon that one thing And it's no problem to move Peacemaker from one universe into another one. Well, James Gunn just addressed this, talking about and confirmed that Peacemaker Season 1 is going to be canon with Season 2, with the exception of one thing. This is what he said. This comes to us from Cinema Blend, wrote the following. In an interview with IGN, Gunn, who also wrote and directed The Suicide Squad and carried out the same duties on the new Superman movie, mentioned that the Justice League scene from the Peacemaker Season 1 finale will remain solely tied to the DCEU, the old cinematic universe. However, this won't simply be ignored when Season 2 premieres on the 2025 TV schedule. Gunn said the following. The truth is, almost all of Peacemaker is canon, with the exception of Justice League, which we kind of deal with in the next season of Peacemaker. So, he's saying exactly what I thought they needed to do. All you got to do is retcon that one thing. The interesting thing about this comment, though, is when he says, we're going to deal with that Justice League scene in Season 2. So even though that's the one thing that's not canon with the brand new DCU, and that's the one thing that's going to be retconned, we're still going to address what happened there in Season 2. How they're going to do that, I have no idea. Like, that is... I don't even have the foggiest guess. Like, I'm seeing Mark W. in the live chat saying, it was a dream. Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe they say it was a dream. Oh, man, I had the weirdest... Peacemaker wakes up. Had the weirdest dream when I woke up. Really? Yeah, I dreamt Aquaman was that bad guy from Fast and Furious, and that kid who breaks into people's houses was the Flash. Yeah. It was really weird. Like, if...
I'm sure they're going to do that. I'm sure
yeah,
those lawyers will love that one.
Oh, yeah, and I didn't kill Rick Flag.
Oh yeah.
Why not that one then, huh?
Yeah.
Retcon that.
I actually agree with that one.
So, I mean, I don't know how they're going to do it, but it'll be fun. I mean, look, clearly by doing a Peacemaker Season 2, they're saying Peacemaker was going to be part of the DCU. And how do we get over the fact that it was in the old one? Again, it was never connected to anything in the old DCEU, except for that one last scene. And as long as you retcon it, and they're clearly going to address it somehow in Season 2, which I cannot wait to see how they do it, it's going to work.
I need to ask this. Looking at the whole slate, where do you see Peacemaker making an appearance in any of the films, any of the projects other than Peacemaker that James Gunn has?
You know what? Here's why that's an interesting question. Because it presents the Deadpool problem. Peacemaker and everything in Peacemaker is so radically hard R. How do you bring, and this is again the same challenge that Marvel would face with Deadpool, how do you bring Peacemaker then into a PG-13 movie or series and tone him down? My guess is this. I don't think we're going to see Peacemaker in anything else.
He'll stay TV.
I think we'll just see Peacemaker in Peacemaker. I think we may, like if there's a Peacemaker Season 3, I think we'll see elements of the DCU come into the Peacemaker show.
Okay.
But and it's just a guess. I'm just guessing. I could be wrong about this. Like I said, I'm just theorizing. But my guess is that we won't see John Cena as Peacemaker outside of that. Because part of the reason too is, Ray, look this up for me.
Yeah.
How old is John Cena now? Because remember, Dave Bautista just did this thing where
47.
So John Cena is now 47 years old. Dave Bautista just went through this thing where he's lost a big amount, like half of his muscle mass. Because he said, look, man, I'm getting older. It gets harder and harder and harder to maintain that kind of a physique. The older you get, that's just genetics. And at some point, John Cena, who's now... It's weird because when I think of John Cena, I still think of this, jorts wearing
he still is.
Rapper dude who ran into the ring to challenge, who was the wrestler, the Olympic wrestler who was...
Kurt Angle.
Kurt Angle. Remember that?
Yeah.
Like when I think of John Cena, I still think of when I was a lot younger and this young kid came running in to challenge Kurt Angle. Like, he's 47 years old now, so I don't know how much longer he can be Peacemaker, but I don't know. Like he could do it for a while, but yeah, I think they're going to keep him in the TV show. Okay. I think they're going to, but again, I could be wrong about that. We'll see. Anyway, guys, question is for you. What do you think about this? Gunn has now confirmed that Peacemaker is canon with the new DCU. And so is season 1, with the exception of that one scene, and they're going to address it. What do you think they're going to do to address it? I have no clue. So whatever you guys theorize, jump down to the comment section below and let us know your thoughts. All right, guys. That down. Let's move on to this, shall we? Well, it looks like the tour of conquering is now complete. Deadpool and Wolverine hit theaters, made 1.3 plus billion dollars at the box office.
Ooh, if only it made 3 point something
Yeah,
billion.
Made like obviously the highest grossing R-rated film of all time, beloved by the box office, beloved by critics, beloved by audiences. People loved it. It then hit VOD, did very, very well on VOD, and now it's on officially on Disney Plus. And how did it do on Disney Plus? As an R-rated film that I believe they have behind some parental walls.
Mm-hmm.
According to Variety, Deadpool and Wolverine racked up 19.4 million views in its first 6 days on streaming, which makes it the highest viewed live action thing they've had on there in well over a year.
Wow.
Getting still completely obliterated by Inside Out 2, but the highest watched live action thing they've had in well over a year. They wrote this on Variety. Deadpool and Wolverine got off to a strong start in its streaming debut. Remember, this is R-rated. Per Disney, the Marvel Studios film pulled in 19.4 million views globally, a view defined as total stream time divided by runtime, after 6 days of streaming, with the film becoming available on Disney Plus on November 12th. That makes it the most watched live-action film across Disney Plus or Hulu since the streaming release of Black Panther: Wakanda Forever in early 2023. But that's live action. Because for comparison, Disney reported in September that the animated film Inside Out 2 accrued 30.5 million views in its first 5 days.
Hey, man, it's cheap therapy.
It is therapy. It's catharsis.
Yeah.
It makes you feel good. It makes you explore your own feelings. I loved Inside Out too, but we're here to talk about Deadpool and Wolverine. You know, I have to admit, I wondered how big of a splash Deadpool and Wolverine would have once it hit Disney Plus, because everybody had seen it multiple times, right? Like everybody had seen it because it made like over $1.3 billion. Everybody has talked about it now for months. It did hit VOD, and to be honest, being rated R on Disney Plus, I thought, listen, everybody's already seen it. Everybody's already seen it multiple times. It's rated R. It's been talked. I didn't honestly know how big of a splash it would make on Disney Plus once it went over there. Well, apparently the splash was very big. The splash was huge. And this is going to continue to mount the pressure for them to do another Deadpool movie. And listen, I still think there's a possibility Ryan Reynolds doesn't do another Deadpool movie. I still don't believe Hugh Jackman's coming back. Again, I'm not saying I know that as a fact. That's just me speculating as a fan, okay? I'm just guessing. My guess and your guess is as good as mine. I'm just saying. But clearly with that kind of success, not only in theaters, but now on their own streaming platform, it's going to continue to mount that pressure to say, listen, back that dump truck full of gold, back up to the house of Sean Levy, Ryan Reynolds, and Hugh Jackman, and try to get another one of these done.
Come on, man. Deadpool and Punisher.
Well, you know what people really, apparently, at least our audience of our show, that I'm hearing a lot of, it sounds a lot like our audience wants to see Deadpool and Spider-Man.
Oh, yeah.
There's a lot of people. I mean, there's some good comic book reference for that too. But again, how do you take a family-friendly Spider-Man character and do a Ryan Reynolds Deadpool with that Spider-Man character? I'm not sure you can do it unless you totally nerf Deadpool, which
I don't want to die, Mr. Wade.
Mr. I just don't think there's a way to do it, because nobody wants to see a censored Deadpool, but they can't do a hard R Deadpool with Spider. I don't know. Maybe they could figure out a way to do it. I'm not really sure, but it does increase the pressure of it. And listen, Ryan Reynolds got a lot of stuff going on now. He's already said he's going to be spending the next year writing that boy band movie that him, Sean Levy, and Hugh Jackman are doing together. And I know I've had a lot of people write to me saying, John, that's secretly Deadpool 4. I can tell you 100% certainty it is not Deadpool 4. I can absolutely assure you the movie he is writing is absolutely this boy band movie that has nothing to do with Deadpool and Wolverine. It's not even for Disney. All right. So just slow those rolls. And everybody's, because like, did you see that? Like online, a lot of people going, no, this boy band thing, this is actually secretly it's not.
Of course, it has to be something they want, right? So it's like, well, this is what we want.
I would like it
so
too.
This is what it has to be.
I would like it too.
I don't even know how he has time to write.
So yeah, so it's not going to be that. It's absolutely this boy band thing, and we already know what the synopsis of it is and all that kind of stuff. But it does raise the specter of it. It's like, do they do a Deadpool 4? And again, like the big problem with Deadpool, and this again is presented with its success on Disney Plus, is this is the one character you cannot just easily cross over with the rest of your Marvel universe.
Yeah.
Because we want to hear Deadpool in the back of a family van saying, I haven't had a lot of vaginal sex lately. Like we want to hear Deadpool say that. And you can't have him say that.
You got a mouse in your pocket? When you say we,
they can't do that by dropping him in a Ms. Marvel movie.
Oh boy.
Or oh boy.
Oh boy. Really out of all.
or by dropping him in a Spider-Man movie.
You're gonna learn today.
Or even dropping him in an Avengers movie. Now you can't even drop it in an Avengers movie.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It's going to be really interesting to see. But again, I do think the success it's having on Disney Plus is going to ramp up the pressure, and we'll see what they're going to do. Anyway, guys, question is for you. What do you think about this? The success of Deadpool and Wolverine seems to have now come full circle. Great success in the theaters, great success VOD, and now it's completed the trifecta with great success on streaming. Do you think this increases or changes the pressure level for them to try to get another Deadpool done? Do you think we could see Deadpool in another iteration of the Marvel Cinematic Universe? Whatever you guys think, jump down to the comment section below and let us know your thoughts. All right, guys. With that down, let's move on to this, shall we? According to James Gunn, you know where Deadpool wouldn't have a problem living?
Mm-hmm.
In the DCU? Because according to James Gunn in a story now going around, Gunn has confirmed that the new DC universe is already developing, quote unquote, multiple R-rated projects that are going to be part of the DC universe. This comes from the folks at MovieWeb who wrote the following. The director of Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy opened up to Collider in a recent interview about how the ratings of his future DC projects are looking. Gunn confirmed that R-rated scripts and stories will be a part of the future of the DC cinematic franchise. After having directed an acclaimed R-rated film for DC, The Suicide Squad, he told Collider that DC Studios is working on multiple R-rated projects. Now, fans can relax knowing that Gunn and Safran are eager and willing to tell more mature stories. All right. I've been one of those guys that I've always said, you don't need comic book movies to be rated R. As a matter of fact, remember when they first announced a Deadpool movie? It was first said it would not be rated R. And I was one of the guys, and I still stand by this. It's like, would it be more ideal if they let Deadpool be rated R? Yes, but you can do it without it being rated R. A lot of people say, oh, we want an R-rated Batman movie. Why? The comics have never been R-rated. Batman doesn't go around saying, F this, F that, let me grab your titties. Unless that's an issue I missed. If somebody can find me that issue, do let me know. I would like to see this. F this, F that, let me grab your titties. Bruce Wayne. So if that's there, let me know. But you don't need to make it rated R. But when you have R-rated available to you, it just opens up the playing field a bit. It lets you do different types of things. Hence Deadpool, right? Hence Suicide Squad. Hence Harley Quinn. I love the Harley Quinn series. So it just opens up another section of the playground that may otherwise be cordoned off. Do you have to have it? No, I still stand by the fact that you don't have to have it. But can it be useful? Absolutely. And James Gunn has already shown that he can play very creatively in that corner of the sandbox. right? Suicide Squad was brilliant. Peacemaker was brilliant. Both R-rated kind of things. He's also shown he doesn't have to be in the R-rated play box to make brilliant stuff. The Guardians of the Galaxy and whatnot. Slither, all that kind of stuff. He's fabulous at it. So I got to tell you, while I don't think I want to see Marvel go in that direction, because Marvel has already established its DNA.
Mm-hmm.
And for Marvel to do a bunch of R-rated things, Deadpool notwithstanding, it would feel out of step. The advantage that DC has right now is they're just starting. They have not created their DNA yet. So they can start from scratch. This is one of the advantages of them rebooting. They can start from scratch and saying, this is what our DNA is now.
Well, and also because I know they're Elseworlds, but the Batman and the Joker, even the Joker 2, however anyone feels about it, does set a template of R-rated content for DC, even if it's not DCU and it's Elseworlds. Now you're conditioned like this is acceptable. So,
yeah, I agree, and depends on what kind of tone you want to set. Now, of course, and then we have multiple things going on in D, because we have the DCU, which is what Superman is going to be in, and now we've got this Gothamverse that Matt Reeves is shepherding under James Gunn, with the Batman, Penguin, and then we'll see what else comes out of this. I still can't get over how good Penguin is. Oh my God. I still cannot get over how good Penguin is. Regardless. Now, what I don't want to see James Gunn do is take characters that should not be R-rated stuff and just have them dropping F-bombs just for shock value.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to see Superman going, F this, F that, let me grab your titties. I don't want to see Superman do that. I don't want to see Batman do that. I don't want to see Green Lantern do that. There are characters you can do that with, hence Suicide Squad, hence Peacemaker, maybe even a Lobo, which I'm still expecting to see Jason Momoa play.
Yeah, you could definitely grab his titties. What strip club?
he
has a stripper named Bruce Wayne.
He actually
That's
asked
all I'm
you,
saying.
do you want to grab my titties?
Because he said, Bruce Wayne, let me grab your titties. I was like, what strip club is that?
That's how we greet each other.
Yeah, that's the Lobo way from his planet.
The international handshake. Okay.
Hello, Lobo.
What movie was that in?
What
Where they played-
dial? What dial are you?
What movie was that from? When the guys want to play
Karate
Hello
Kid?
Tokyo? What's Hello
Oh,
Tokyo?
Kid?
No. You want to play Hello Tokyo?
Was it
What's
Six-
Hello Tokyo? And he goes, "Hello, come in Tokyo."
What? I don't.
What movie was that from?
I gotta
16
see this
Candles,
movie.
maybe? I can't remember.
Come on.
I know what you're talking about, but
Yes,
it's,
it's a movie from the 80s or something.
yeah.
Like that. Anyway,
Could have even been like Weird Science or something.
Okay.
that's how we greet each other. Yeah, so I love that they're going to do that. I just want them to keep it confined to characters that it's appropriate for, right? Peacemaker, Suicide Squad, a Lobo, maybe a couple of others, but like keep it away from Hawk Girl, keep it away from Superman, keep it away from your core Justice League kind of members and stuff like that. And as long as they're able to do that, I think it could be really fun. I think it could be really great.
And these are supposed to fit in his DCU, right? These are not side R projects.
No, apparently this is DCU. He's looking at scripts that are going to be R-rated for DCU.
Right. These are places where Peacemaker could fit in.
Yeah,
If you were
that's
gonna
true
cross
too.
over.
Yep.
So basically, he's basically saying, "Hey, I'm not afraid to go R."
We're not
if we
limiting
need to.
ourselves. Yeah,
if we
we're
need
going
to.
to make all kinds of movies. We're going to make movies that are definitely more family accessible, like Superman, Batman, Justice League, that kind of stuff. But we're also going to make other kind of stuff too, because we're going to mix it up. So I kind of like it. Now, again, at the end of the day, being R doesn't make it good.
No.
Being R doesn't make it bad. Being R just means it's rated R. You still got to make a good movie with great writing, good stories, good narrative, great characters. You still got to do all the work. But if they can do that and mix it up, more power to them. I think it'll be great.
It does expand the content and maybe
Yes.
even the vocabulary. Maybe this is something he's been thinking about even when he was working with Disney that he couldn't do. Like maybe there's times where he wanted throw in an F word or something in Guardians because it fit
Yeah.
right. But
He did get away with one in Guardians 3, remember?
Oh, yeah, he
With
did.
the door.
But you're allowed to do that, right? You're allowed one F-bomb.
And he only did it on the third of the trilogy. And when it happened, it was just like, I was like, oh.
Was that the door one?
Yeah, the door.
Yep.
That was that was so good.
All right, guys. Question is for you. What do you think about this? James Gunn has confirmed that they are developing multiple R-rated projects for the DCU. I don't think it's going to define the DCU. I think it just means there's going to be certain projects that do one thing, certain projects that do another. Do you like the idea? Do you not like the idea? Whatever you guys think, jump down to the comment section below and let us know your thoughts. All right, guys. With that down, it's time for us to move on to the most important part of our show, of course, which is taking your live comments and questions. But before we do, we're going to take a quick moment to thank a couple more sponsors of today's episode, our friends at Tile and Public Rec. Guys, we want to take a second to thank a sponsor of today's video, Life 360 Tile Trackers. With the holidays right around the corner, it's all about family, fun, and of course, keeping track of everything while traveling or hosting. For me, that's where Life 360's Tile Trackers are an absolute lifesaver. These little things help keep the holiday stress in check. Whether I'm tracking my keys, wallet, or even our luggage when we travel, Tile Trackers make it easy to keep tabs on everything important. Just open the Tile app to ring it when it's nearby, or track down its location on the map if it's a bit farther. I had mentioned this one time I went to a poker tournament in Vegas, and I keep everything, my wallet, my tablet, and stuff like that, in this satchel backpack of mine, and I thought I lost it. I went crazy for hours until I finally realized I had left it in the car. If I had had Tile Tracker, it would have made my life a lot simpler. And here's one of the things I love about Tile. Tile syncs with Life 360, so I can see the location of my family members and all of our tiled items in one spot. So make your holidays a little less stressful and family-proof your season with Life 360's Tile Trackers. Visit tile.com and use the code Campea to get 15% off. That's tile.com. Use the code Campea. Hey guys, we want to take a second to thank a sponsor of today's video, Public Rec. Guys, we all know finding pants that both look good and feel good has always been a major challenge. Public Rec's Daymaker pants are here to make sure you stay comfy and classy this season. I absolutely love that they feel like your favorite sweats, but they look like tailored pants. They're super stretchy with an elastic waistband, so you can wear them anywhere. The first thing I noticed when I put these pants on was they go on and feel just like my most comfortable pair of sweats, yet they look so good. Another great thing about these pants is, when you order comfortable pants, you only get to pick from like small, medium, or large and extra large sizes, but with Daymaker pants, you get to select the exact width and length that you need. Public Rec not only has the most comfortable pants made, but they have a huge selection of high quality everyday basics, like this beautiful hoodie I was wearing on the show the other day. So stop suffering in regular pants and give the gift of comfort this holiday season. For a limited time only, our listeners get 20% off when you use the code Campea at checkout. That's 20% off with the code Campea at publicrec.com. And listen, after you purchase, they'll ask you where you heard about them. Please support the John Campea Show and tell them that we sent you. Say goodbye to pants that put up a fight, because when comfort meets style, you've found Public Rec. And thank you to our friends at Tile and Public Rec for sponsoring today's episode of the John Campea Show podcast. I don't know why I was saying to Ray during the break, I said, someone's got to make a t-shirt that just has a dark silhouette of Batman's head, and above it, it just says, F this, F that, and below it, let me grab your titties. That's it. No context. Just a t-shirt that does that. And then if you're out in public and you see somebody wearing it, you'll know that's a fellow John Campea Show viewer.
There you go.
Right there.
You walk by and go, bring on the filthy.
And you'll get arrested.
Some people have secret handshakes. We have Batman being disgusting. All right. That down, guys. Let's get on to the main stuff here, which is your comments and questions. Jonathan, what we got up first?
Anonymous says, you say that if you were a studio exec, you would say no to giving a movie like Red One an obscenely large budget. I have to wonder, since the story idea came from Dwayne Johnson's producing partner, if they were told no by other studios.
It would not be unusual. Listen, a lot of movie projects don't get told yes right away. Like a lot of movie projects shop around, and some pass on it and then somebody else takes it up. I wouldn't be surprised at all if there was a studio that looked at that and then looked at like even anything close to a $200 million budget and said pass. So I mean, I don't know if that's necessarily 100% true, but it feels like that would be the case. I wouldn't be surprised at all to found out that other studios passed on it. All right, what's next?
JD is a two-parter. JD from New York City here. I know you're not a big fan of my city, but we have more than just bags of garbage. We also kind of do the cultural and financial epicenter of U.S. pretty well, but I kid, just busting chops. What we do agree on is that the greatest show of all time is Ronald D. Moore's Battlestar Galactica.
100%.
I wanted to know who your most and least favorite characters are. For me, it's Starbuck, or if I'm feeling cute, Romo. If I'm feeling cute, Romo Lampkin. Least favorite was Gata. The SOB broke my heart. Much love.
Gata is one of the best characters. I mean, Gata kind of represents part of why that Battlestar Galactica show was so unbelievably good. Because this guy who's like a hero and like just a regular guy in the show and all that kind of stuff, and one of the brave, and to have the ending that he had felt so authentic and so earned and so tragic and so real. I mean, it sounds like a cop-out to say, but when talking about my favorite character, it was Adama. Adama was easily my favorite character. And I guess the one that annoyed me the most was Baltar, but he was supposed to annoy you. You're supposed to feel that. So okay, you know what? You know who was the character I could have done without, although ultimately he had a pretty important role to play in how the show finished? The professional athlete dude that Starbucks started dating. The big tall, I can't remember the character's name off the top of my head, but he was only supposed to be in the show for a few episodes. But then the writers decided, you know what? We've got an idea for him. And they kind of stretched him out to the end of the series. I think he came in season 3. It might have been late season 2. I think it was season 3. I can't remember the character's name. But that one, I never really got put over on that character per se. But they were all, Boomer was great. Ty was awesome. They were all great. It's the greatest show of all time. And yeah, the character's one of the big. Sam Anders, thank you. Lauren Toy. Sam Anders was the name of the character that kind of bothered me a little bit. Don't get me wrong, had absolutely good things about him too. It's just that was the one that I didn't love as much. All right, what's next?
Kylo Ken says, hi, John. I hope you gave last night's AMC Screen Unseen another shot. They finally gave us a real treat. They showed Gladiator 2. I really enjoyed it. It was probably my favorite film of the year. I hope to hear what you think of it. Do you have? I know you have plans to see it. I shouldn't say.
Yeah, I've already got my tickets. I'm going to go see it. I gave up on AMC Screen Unseen when I went to 3 of them, and all 3 of them were like total throwaway nothing movies. And I went like, nah. See, that's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that is.
That's awesome that they did that. Because I said I was really very, very pro the Screen Unseen thing when they started it. But then again, like I said, I went to 3 in a row, and it was all like total throwaway nothing movies. Like the first one we went to go see was Greatest Beer Run Ever. That was literally dropping on Apple TV Plus like a week later.
Yeah, they do these like day and dates almost.
Yeah, and it was like, and then there was like 3 in a row we went to that we literally then got up and left.
Well, and it doesn't even have to be something as large as like Gladiator, but like you could do like some like Heretic level or something that has some kind of buzz to it, you know?
Yeah, something that's a legit wide release film that's at least some people are excited about.
Right.
To hear that they actually did Gladiator 2, that's a big deal. That's a big deal. And that makes me tempted to go to the next one. So we'll see. If they can do it a couple times, you might actually get me there.
Yeah.
All right, what's next?
All right. Amin says, sorry, I just keep laughing because I think you're going to get screwed on it either way. They're going to have like 2 good ones, and then you're going to go to a Screen Unseen. It's going to suck.
Yeah.
Amin says, sorry, last question was a duplicate. Apparently, Moana 2's review embargo doesn't lift until the day before its release. Not a good sign. I don't know if it's because they don't want to have it drop during the Wicked and Gladiator talk, but still.
Just quick correction. It's actually dropping the day it does come out.
Yeah.
It's literally, the reviews are going to drop literally just a couple of hours before the first screenings.
Wow.
Now, that might actually be a little bit of a logical explanation. Do you want the reviews getting lost in all the raves that both Gladiator 2 and Wicked are going to get when it opens just a few days before it?
Right.
That's right.
Now, again, for me, it's all going to be about when do they let the people drop their social media reactions. If you let them drop their social media reactions a few days early, then that's fine. But if they literally just hold it till the day of the movie coming out, that's not good. Even though that's a logical thing you just presented, it's still not good to me, and it sends up some red flags. All right, what's next?
Raymond says on NBC News, there's an online debate on whether it's okay to sing along to Wicked in the theaters. Some fans don't like it because they came to hear Cynthia Erivo and Ariana sing. If you plan to sing, please don't sing over the movie and just sing in tune. Yeah, that's the thing. It's probably going to be so loud anyway that as long as you're just kind of singing below, I think I'm of two minds. But it's like, if you're there opening weekend and all those other people, they're probably fans of the content. Have fun, but don't be disrespectful about it.
I go back. I'll be honest with you. I don't really have a consistent position on this. I go back and forth on this because on the one hand, you go to these movies to have fun. They're an experience. And part of the experience for me is the crowd really enjoying it. But with something like Wicked, where a big part of this movie is going to be Cynthia Erivo, who is a world-class vocalist, and Ariana Grande, who is a fabulous vocalist, to hear them actually singing and not to hear, Peggy Magoo next to you.
Yeah, I don't want to know that Magoo junk.
Magoo's pretty Peggy.
Going out there. If you want to find me, look to the western sky.
Okay,
like, I don't go to your Peggy Magoo. I came to here. So, here's what
like under your breath kind of singing. You don't have to be like,
my thought is, here's what my thought is right now, but I might totally change my mind in 10 minutes. Like, in the first week or so, let people enjoy the movie.
Yeah.
Exactly.
If you're going to go like week 3, week 4, then have fun, sing along. And so I don't know.
Plus, there's going to be sing-alongs, like ones that are like sing-along specific drops. So you can wait for those too.
Anyway, all right. What's next?
Disney Gifts by Bryce. Crew, I don't think you'll be disappointed with Wicked. It was a lot of fun. Did you sing? Great performances, and Screen X wraps me in a glorious hug of color. Hope you enjoyed tonight. See, that would be a cool Screen X. I think we were talking about that yesterday. Just because of the art direction of it. I might not want to see it the first time on a Screen X, but like, if I was going to see it twice, maybe.
I got to tell you, again, like I said this coming out of CinemaCon, as somebody who had really no interest in this, not because I didn't think it was going to be good, it's just not my thing. I'm not the target demo. I came out of CinemaCon going, oh my God, I cannot wait to watch this. This looks like just fantastic filmmaking. It just looks like fantastic filmmaking. And I'm a fan of fantastic filmmaking. And if they pull this off, I'm going to be really happy with it. All right, what's next?
Brian O'Connor says, speaking of director commentaries, Matt Reeves' commentary for The Batman is absolutely epic. I've seen the film many times, and still Matt pointed out tiny details no one noticed. Also, fun fact, Jeff Loeb was one of Matt's screenwriting teachers at USC.
Oh, that's very cool. Listen, I'll tell you what, man. What the biggest argument to me for physical media was special features, and 99% of my love of special features is just the director's commentary. And digital has not embraced director's commentary enough. Because it used to be on just about every physical disc release, there was a director's commentary. And it was rare that you wouldn't get one. And today it's rare that you get them on any kind of a digital thing.
Yeah.
And to me, that's the one, like, I'm totally a digital guy. I abandoned physical a long time ago and I have no regrets. But one of the big advantages, I should say, of physical media was like you almost always had those director's commentaries, and I miss those. They're great.
Yeah.
All right, what's next?
Jean Grey says, I hope for the live action How to Train Your Dragon film, they give Toothless all his personality traits and lovable nature. It may be a challenge, but I do believe in them to make it happen. I just hope it translates well. Thoughts and opinions? Well, I think we've seen it translates well.
I'll tell you what, just that one short 5-second clip leads me to believe they are going to capture all that personality.
100%.
I saw it. I'm like, I cannot believe how perfect they've made him look.
Yeah.
And I'm somebody who really thought they were going to have to adapt his appearance so it didn't look too cartoony in live action. Maybe it does look a little cartoony, but I'm looking, I'm like, this looks perfect.
Yeah.
It looks so good. Now, again, I'm not saying the movie's going to be great. Maybe it isn't. I'm just saying it looks fantastic. Whether it does end up being fantastic or not, we'll find out. All right, what's next?
Performing artist is Hello, John and Crew. Nora is in my top 3 films for 2024. Did any of you finally see it? It would be a crime if y'all were to miss it in the theater. Thank you to you, John, Jonathan, Ray, Chris, and all who make your YouTube channel what it is every day.
Oh, thank you.
I haven't seen Nora yet. The last movie I saw was Conclave.
So it's funny you mentioned that. I literally just got a text last night from Martika, who's the producer of Designing Hollywood, which is on the channel. Rob hosts it. And Martika was just asking me, she goes, have you seen Nora yet? And it's like, it's still not playing anywhere near me. Like, Anna and I are going to have to drive like an hour into into LA to go watch it. And I want to. I think it looks amazing. I can't wait to see it, but I've still not had a chance to see it yet. All right, what's next?
Steve from Long Island says, have you ever seen a movie yourself, but you were the only one in the theater room? I literally took a pass on Red One due to my local theater having nobody buying tickets. It's just too depressing for me to be the only one in the room. For maybe that kind of a movie, if you didn't like it, I've definitely been alone in theaters before.
The most I did was me and Anne, and then there was one other couple in the theater near the front. That I've never literally been in one where it was just me, but I have been in one or two where there's been me and 2 or 3 others. But the smallest one was actually in Burbank. Anne and I went to a movie once, and it was just her and I, and then there was one other couple sitting near the front, and that was it. So it is kind of because I like a full theater. Like, being a part of an audience is part of the movie going experience for me, and I love it.
But I don't like a packed theater, like when literally there's just no room. I like a little space, 2/3, 80% filled.
Depends on the movie.
Yeah.
Right? It depends on the movie.
I'm sure if it's like Endgame, like opening weekend, yeah.
Yeah,
of
exactly.
course.
All right, what's next?
Excuse me. Bry Guy says, 2 legacy actors I would be open-minded to see direct a live-action Calvin and Hobbes movie before they retire are Clint Eastwood and Denzel Washington. Does Denzel direct?
Yeah, he did. He actually.
He did that Fences, right?
Yep. I think he might have been nominated for that, if I'm not mistaken. Anyway, I don't think they're both awesome. I don't think either of them have the sensibilities for a Calvin and Hobbes. I don't see that at all. They're all-time. I mean, especially Clint Eastwood is an all-time great director, but I just don't see his sensibilities at all lining up with what a Calvin and Hobbes would be. So I would probably take a pass on that one myself personally. All right, what's next?
All right, Tron says, I saw Knuckles and it was a big letdown. Humor was Love and Thunder levels of cringe. True, but it's like trying to be that, and felt like it was written for 5-year-olds. But the biggest problem was that it was more focused on Wade than Knuckles. Yeah. It also failed to get me excited for Sonic 3. I don't feel like it's supposed to be a bridge to it.
It kind of did. I thought it was trying to be a bridge to it. It just failed.
But it's not necessary.
Listen, when you say that part drives me crazy. When you say that, it was trying to do that. That's not an excuse. Like if you go to see a movie and say that was the shittiest movie I've ever seen, and then somebody says, well, that's what they were trying for. Oh, in that case, that was great.
Yeah, but I don't equate that to necessarily like crappy. Like, he felt it was cringe.
Right,
I just thought it was trying to be cute.
Yeah, I mean, but being cute and being cringy are two different things, right? So I don't think they were trying to be cringy. I think they were trying to be cute. I just feel it failed at doing it. And then there will be others who think it succeeded at doing that. But I don't think anybody was trying to make it cringe. I think cringe is the result of when you fail to be cute.
Yeah.
And so to me and this viewer, it came across as cringy. To some others who saw it and appreciated it and it worked for them, it didn't come across as cringy. It came across as cute, which is what they were going for. But I was very excited about the Knuckles series because I loved Knuckles in Sonic 2. But you're right. It really wasn't about Knuckles.
Yeah, it wasn't.
Knuckles was not the star. The star of the show was the weakest element of all the Sonic movies, which is that character. He's the weakest part of all the characters. They really should have had Sonic go on his adventure with James Marsden's wife's character.
Right, because that was at the very beginning.
Yes. If Knuckles had been about Knuckles going on an adventure with her, I think that would have been an infinitely better series. Infinitely better series. And I'm not blaming the actor. That's the character. That's the character that they've had in Sonic. And I think that's not a fun character. I think that's the one character that kind of drags the Sonic movies down. But her character is great. So if you had Knuckles and her going off on their adventure with that dynamic, I think it would have been a much better series. All right, what's next?
Sam Fisher says, I do not care if this is just a shot-for-shot remake of the animated movie. I love How to Train Your Dragon movies so much. It'll be worth to see Hiccup, Toothless, Asteroid, etc. as real people. And this might be the first time I've seen Butler not act as himself.
If you want to see Butler not necessarily act like himself, there's a little movie he did with Jamie Foxx. It's not Ordinary Citizen. What's it?
It's
not
Law-Abiding Citizen.
Law-Abiding Citizen.
That movie
That's
was good.
That's a good movie, man.
That's when he was trapped inside, and then Jamie Foxx. Was he the bad guy in that one?
No. Jamie Foxx is like a prosecutor, and Gerard Butler is a guy who got totally wronged by the system, and he decides he's going to destroy the system. Like,
right. All right.
And it's a good movie.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
You know what? F. Gary Gray did that.
Did he?
That. Yeah.
I didn't realize F. Gary Gray did that.
Yeah.
Before he did Straight Outta Compton and the Fast movie, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Oh, that's probably the movie that got him Straight Outta Compton. Anyway, good movie. Go check him out in it. All right, what's next?
Carlos Souza says, hi, John and crew. Going to Gladiator screening event today in LA. Can't wait for the movie. I remember going as a 10-year-old kid and loving the first one. I believe the LA premiere was yesterday too, and they had a great set design for the red carpet.
Yeah, man, listen, I still remember the first time I saw the first Gladiator. It was at a dollar theater in Saskatoon, Saskatchewan, Canada. And me and some buddies went to go see it. It was in one of these little movie theaters that was inside the mall. And we came out. My only complaint, and to this day, my only complaint about the original Gladiator, because I love it. My only complaint was I remember coming out of the theater and saying to my friends, there was Dale and David with their name, David Zebart, and saying, I just really wanted to see that legion of Roman soldiers marching on Rome. Because remember, he was trying to escape and get out of the city and he said his men were waiting for him. So he was going to go out, get his legion, and come back and march on Rome and take out Commodus. I was like, oh, so I was kind of bummed out that we never got to see that. But on that, it's like, it's almost a perfect movie. I mean, the movie is so good, and I cannot wait. I'm really, really happy to hear that this one's turned out well, because I was skeptical. And hearing all the raves I'm hearing about it, I'm so stoked to see it this week. All right, what's next?
John M. says, the other day I wrote in to say the How to Train Your Dragon shot looked like it had muted colors. The short teaser alleviated that for me for sure. Looks good and excited.
Yeah, visually it looks great. Now, there's still a lot more we have to see, right? There's still a lot more to see. Again, it's all going to turn out, do they flesh it out well? Does it feel grounded? Does it do all that kind of stuff? We'll find out. But I think from this one very small sample size, this one little sample size they served up looks really good. Now, whether the whole thing will, we don't know. But this little thing looked great. All right, what's next?
Alex Moss says, how much do you think the synergy between the How to Train Your Dragon movie and the opening the Universal Epic Universe Epic Universe Land will help boost the box office, since both open within weeks of each other? So the land at Universal.
0.
Yeah.
0. If anything, the movie will help the land. The land ain't going to help the movie. It's just so it's the other way around. At least that's what they're aiming for. So again, we'll see. But then again, we'll see how it turns out. All right, cool. What's next?
Brian O'Connor says, Indonesian filmmaker, I'm just going to say Timo, is directing Nobody 2. His recent film, The Shadow Strays on Netflix, makes the John Wick franchise look like Disney princess films. Absolutely epic, must watch. Spiritually, a worthy follow-up to the Raid films. I love the Raid films.
I've never heard of this film.
I haven't either. It's on Netflix.
That
thanks,
will
Netflix.
go to explain why we've never heard of it.
Thanks, Netflix, for not marketing stuff. That's good.
They never know what's out there. So I mean, I'll keep my eye open for it, though. I'll keep my eye open for it. But again, I am very excited. I loved Nobody. I thought the first one was great. seeing Bob Odenkirk in a role like that, it was such a departure from what we were used to seeing him in. And I thought he killed it as it, and I cannot wait to see the second one. All right, what's next?
Okay, John Ben Bang says, John, I recently had a good experience at Anthony Mackie's Elevation. Why didn't the studio bother to market this? And have you even heard of it? Elevation.
We talked
heard
about it on
yeah.
the show. We talked about Elevation on the show.
Yeah.
But yeah, it had no marketing. Like, it just like a thief in the night quietly snuck into theaters and is quietly going to go out. It's just, yeah, they just did not get behind it at all. Like, you would be shocked to find out it was even a theatrical release. So I don't know what their strategy there was.
Damn.
All right, what's next?
We're going to hear from our members now. Henry Lemoyne says, hey, John, whether his movies are hits or misses, I really admire Ridley Scott. Dude is 86 and knows how to make films. The size, scale, and scope of his films is always breathtaking. His films, whether good or bad, are always eye candy to look at. Super excited for Gladiator 2.
I don't think that's true, that they're always that.
A lot of that has to do with the cinematographer.
Yeah,
though.
like a lot of that stuff comes down to the cinematographer in cooperation with the director. Absolutely. Ridley's career, when it's all said and done, will be defined by, I think, two different eras. There was the earlier era, and then there was the latter era. Because I honestly think his ratio in his last 10 films is like 2 good ones to 8 terrible ones. And then earlier in his career, obviously, he's done some of the greatest all-time stuff. The Martian was fantastic. And Gladiator 2 is sounding like, and I remember everybody said, no, don't do Gladiator 2. No. I get that. But he did it, and it sounded like it might be his best movie in decades. Might be his best movie since the first Gladiator. So I'm excited to check it out, and I hope we see him really get a good return to form here, because he's Ridley Scott. I want to see him return to form. All right, what's next?
We got Starhawk, who says, I saw Gladiator 2 at a screen unseen last night. There's someone else. Really enjoyed it. Regal, AMC, and a local chain all showed it in a mystery movie here in Salt Lake City, Utah.
If they can do that more often, I will go to these secret screening things more often. But it's just that I went to a bunch of them, and it was all crap. It's like saying, oh, come to our secret dinner, $10 secret dinner. Excellent. And you get there, and they serve you Cheerios. You get there, oh, maybe we'll get this gourmet burger. Oh, maybe we'll get this great Italian dish. Nope, here's a bowl of Cheerios. Secret dinner. And that's what the secret screenings have been. They've been bowls of Cheerios with no milk. Just a bowl of dry Cheerios. And a thing of salt. That's it. Enjoy.
You're like,
That bad? Was Beer Run
what's
really
the
that
salt
bad?
for?
It
They're
was
like,
that
I said
bad.
enjoy.
Beer Run really that bad?
It was dried Cheerios with salt, Ray.
Dry Cheerios with salt. By the way, just an update. Remember we said earlier
Wicked.
the audience reviews for Wicked, 99%. We now have it here. 95% critic review.
This thing's got a flop.
Flopperoonie.
Flop.
Now, that's only with 63 reviews being counted so far. I'm sure that number will go up. We'll see what happens with the score. Maybe the score goes up a little bit, maybe it comes down. We'll keep our eye on it. But 99% audience. By the way, now 2,500 verified ratings from audience
And
members.
that hasn't budged. And then 63 reviews is pretty solid.
63 reviews is good this quick.
Yeah.
So we'll see how that turns out.
Oh,
Nice.
well.
I'm not watching it with Ray. He's going to be singing next to me.
All right, what's next?
Dr. Stinky. I'm a loss for words. No spoilers, of course. Arcane Season 2, Act 2 is just unbelievably perfect. The emotion, the depth of every character, it keeps topping itself. Overall, this season has been better than Season 1 and may top Stranger Things as my favorite TV show ever. I have never seen anything in my years of living done this perfect. Dang, bro.
I have not watched episodes 3, 4, and 5 yet. 4, 5, and 6. Ann and I watched the first 3 episodes, came out, loved it. Of course, season 1 of Arcane made it my all-time favorite animated show, and it still is. It's still my all-time favorite animated show. And I got to sit down and watch it the next 3, because Ann was off in San Francisco for a business thing, and we said we're not going to watch it without each other. So probably tonight we're going to sit down and watch the next 3 episodes. But yeah, this show is just so fantastic. It's crazy. All right, what's next?
Joe Hallen says, Hey, John and crew. Hope your day is going well. I love Tulsa King. They just finished the second season. Do you know if there will be a season 3 of the show? And have you seen it? Thanks. Bring on the filthy.
I really quite enjoyed season 1. I'm gonna fall short of saying I absolutely loved it, but it's probably my least favorite of the Taylor Sheridan created shows. But I quite liked it. I did. I liked Stallone in the role. Yeah, and I enjoyed it. It stretches things a little bit. I have not watched season 2. I will at some point. You know what I'm more interested in? That new Taylor Sheridan show with Billy Bob Thornton. I think it's
the
called
oil
Landman.
drillers. The
Yeah, I think it's called
Landman or something.
Landman.
Yeah.
That I'm really interested in. I want to check that one out for sure. All right, what's next?
The Blind Jedi says, hey guys, hope y'all are having a great day. If you could have your memory wiped clean of these 2 trilogies, which would you choose to experience in the theater again? The original Star Wars or Lord of the Rings? I'm going Lord of the Rings because there's so many other Star Wars content you'd have to wipe too. I mean, it'd be weird if you knew of everything about Star Wars but the original trilogy.
John had to take a drink before this one.
I think you make a sound argument for that. Yes, I think you're right. I think because of that, I would want to watch Lord of the Rings again for the first time. Because here's my worry. If I watch Star Wars for the first time now,
Gonna feel dated.
it might feel a bit dated.
Yeah.
Although it's crazy for a 40-plus-year-old movie how long it took to feel dated.
Yeah.
You have to understand in the context in which it was released, and it's the greatest thing ever. But because of exactly what you said, and because of that one issue, I'd say Lord of the Rings is the one I would do again.
There you go.
Even though Star Wars is my favorite. All right, what's next?
Espinoza says Universal really went all in with Wicked. I can't think of any other Broadway musical or play turned to film with this much hype that Wicked is receiving. Can you guys think of any other Broadway musical or play with this much hype? I mean, not even like Phantom of the Opera or Les Mis got this much hype. P.S. Universal went all in on Wicked. Jerry Jones went all in on Cowboys this season. Wonder who won.
Yeah, Jared, all in. How'd that
in.
turn out? I think a lot of people forget how much hype Chicago had when it came out.
Well, that's true. That's a good pull.
Yeah, Chicago had a lot of hype going, and then it won Best Picture of the Year, I think, at the Oscars. But it wasn't this much hype.
No.
It wasn't this much hype. So yeah, I think the closest thing to it would be Chicago, but no, even Chicago wasn't on this level. All right, what's next?
Maverick says, hey, John and crew, saw Fight Club for the first time and loved it.
Nice.
I also felt dirty at the same time. I know you guys have seen it. If so, what do you guys think of it?
Well, we've talked about Fight Club many times
it's
over
like
the years. I mean, it's just
Modern classic.
a great twist.
I haven't seen it.
Yeah, that's exactly right, John. It's a modern classic. It really is. You haven't seen it, right?
No.
It's a bit of a mind twist.
Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, definitely check it out. It's fun.
The late great Meatloaf was in it. Alan says, hey, John, longtime viewer, just became a member this weekend.
Thank you, Alan.
Do you think they will use John Powell's score in the How to Train Your Dragon live action movie? I love the song Test Drive, and it feels like the kind of iconic to the series.
So correct me if I'm wrong. I thought that music we heard at the end of the trailer was from the original How to Train
I
Your
thought
Dragon.
it was too.
I don't.
So,
Yeah,
I might be wrong about that, but I thought it was.
So we had spoke about that, and I'm like, this music sounds so. I mean, there's not going to be a lot of people here that probably know it, but
By the way, people in the live chat are saying yes, that was the music from the movie.
it
So, yeah, there you
really
go.
to me sounded like the Civilization 6 video game's main theme. It's crazy. I gotta listen to both of those back to back.
Now I want to go play Civ again.
I love
haven't played
Civ.
Civilization in a while.
There's a new one coming out.
All right, what's next?
Cultured Insight says, hi, John and crew. As a fan of movies, I've always liked watching the box office when movies compete on the same weekend. Who do you guys think will win the November 22nd weekend between Wicked and December 20th weekend between Mufasa and Sonic Lion King? Those
Lion
are my
King,
two picks.
yeah.
Wicked
Okay.
and Lion King.
Wicked and Lion King. Or Wicked and
Wicked
Mufasa.
against yeah.
But I think they're both so close. I wouldn't put money on it.
I put your money on it.
I'll put your money on it, but not mine. But yeah, I think it'll be Wicked. Remember, we're talking about box office. We're not
Yeah.
talking about which will be better,
Right.
but I think it'll be Wicked and Mufasa. So we'll see.
Yeah.
All right, what's next?
Dad Joke says, hey, John and team, have you watched the new Dune show on HBO? Is it any good if you have?
Listen, this is what we talked about on the show yesterday. I loved it. But it's not for everybody. You know, the first bunch of reviews and reactions came out and said, hey, if you're really into Dune and the lore and all that kind of stuff, this will probably work for you. If you're not, it probably won't. And this is what I said on yesterday's show. I said, a show like Penguin, anybody can watch it. Like, you don't have to appreciate DC or comic book stuff or anything like that. You can come, as long as you just like good crime drama, you can come in and watch Penguin. It's going to be for a lot more people. And it's insanely good. I don't think you can say the same for Dune Prophecy. Now, somebody who does love the lore of Dune, I loved episode 1 of Dune Prophecy. Absolutely loved it. But I don't think a ton of other people will. It's not going to be for as many people as, say, Penguin was. And I don't necessarily think it was as good as Penguin. There was only one episode in, though, so far. But I really liked episode 1 quite a bit. All right, last question of the day. What's next?
All right, Henry says, hey, John, since they plan on expanding the Matt Reeves universe, I really hope the next show will be about Two-Face. I absolutely love the character of Harvey Dent, and I think a legal courtroom drama show about Harvey would be genius. I don't know if I want to see a legal courtroom drama, but a Fall from Grace would be...
I'm a little over Two-Face, to be honest with you. After Aaron Eckhart played him, like, perfectly, I'm like, yeah, I'm kind of over Two-Face. I don't know what I would do next, to be honest with you. And you're right. Listen, there are a lot of really a good, like, just like Penguin was a good, gritty crime family kind of show, a good, gritty courtroom drama sort of thing set in there with Harvey Dent, that could be good. It could be. It's not what I would choose, but I would certainly check it out if that's what they did. All right, guys. And that'll do it. That's our time for today's installment of the John Campea Show podcast. Thank you so much for being here, making our little show part of your day. Big special thank you to all you guys who sent in those questions. Number one, because you gave us great fun things to talk about. But number two, you supported this channel as you did it, and all of us involved with the show. Thank you guys so much for your support. So don't forget to come on back and join us again tomorrow for the next installment of the show. I want to thank Ray Ora,
Today's
Jonathan Boyko.
Hey, I'll see you guys later.
My name's John Campea. Until next time, my friends. Bye-bye.